And we do not want to participate in that. We do not want to be a co-worker to the enemy by giving in to his attempt to steal our peace. You are not allowing whatever it is that's going on with someone else to rob you of your peace. You have a choice. I am choosing to be a woman who is standing strong and firm in who I am. Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of the Dreamer's Way to Fulfillment. We will be focusing on honoring our capacity. This is so important when it comes to achieving absolutely any goal, because with honoring our capacity, that means we are inevitably honoring our current season. And if we want to reach a new level, a new season, then our capacity has to be known, and we have to surrender to what is needed in order for us to be able to honor our capacity while doing the things that we need to do in order to reach that next level, achieve that big goal, whatever that is. And so just to recap a little bit of what we've been going through in the Dreamer's Way to Fulfillment, in episode 1, we learned who we are so that we can stand strong in who we are. We learned that we are God's highest form of creation, that we are image bearers of God. And then we learned that we are women who are helpers that are suitable for very good things. And then finally, we learned that we are head crushers, that we are meant to crush the head of the enemy. And then in episode 2, we went to that enemy's camp, baby, and we took back what he stole from us. Those two episodes are very important to what we're going to be focusing on today as well, because we're getting to a place where we are learning how to start no matter where we are in life. I mean, you can be at the best place in life right now where everything's going great, wonderful, and good for you. No matter what, we are all entering into the next best version of ourselves whenever we enter into a new season. And so with that, we are at a starting point. And so we have to learn who this best version of ourselves is. And then we have to learn how to honor this next best version of ourselves and how to allow her to take the wheel and taking us to extraordinary levels. But then even if you are in a space where you feel like you hit rock bottom and all hell has broke loose, it is still important to have a powerful starting point where you know who you are, where you know what has been stolen from you, what you are struggling with, what you are battling against. That's why we went to the enemy's camp. And now understanding our current season so that we can honor our capacity inside of it. Now, capacity is the maximum amount that you can contain. And sis, we be overdoing it. That is the reason why we battle with so many different things mentally, emotionally, physically, and relationships and things like that. It's because we put way too much on ourselves. Even in the Bible, God tells us that he will never put more on us than we can handle. We know that through, with Cain, and when God was punishing Cain for what he did to Abel. And when after God explained to him what his consequence was, he told God that was more than he could bear. And so because of that, because God would not put on any of us more than we can handle, he had told Cain that nobody was going to go after him to kill him while he was separated from God. And so if God did that to Cain, how much more for his children, that he is not going to overwhelm us. He is not going to burden us. He is not going to pressure us in a way that it is more than we can persevere through. And so if God is not going to do that, then we need to not do that to ourselves. Because at the end of the day, we have free will. And so if you put a lot on yourself with all of your responsibilities, the things that you are saying yes to, the people that you are allowing into your space and into your life, the activities that you are choosing to participate in, the goals that you are setting, if you are putting a lot on yourself, like, God's not going to stop you. That's your choice. But it also bears a lot of consequences, and that's what we deal with a lot with emotionally eating, being drained, stressed out, overwhelmed, frustrated, bitter, depressed, anxiety, health issues. All those different things is a consequence of us doing way too much, not honoring our capacity. And so, well, for those who know me, and if you don't, you're about to find out. I love me a good acronym. Like, acronyms help me to remember the importance and the power of a word. And so capacity, C.A.P.A.C.I.T.Y, that is an acronym. And we're going to go through each letter, and I'm telling you that at the end of this video, you're going to have in your success toolbox different tools and gems and strategies on how, no matter where you are in life, no matter what you're going through, you could honor your capacity. And in honoring your capacity, you will go from one level to the next. You will be able to achieve your big goals. If you're in a hole, you will be able to climb up out of it. Whatever it is that you're striving to do, you will be able to do it and do it well. But not only that, because of how our God does, he goes exceedingly abundantly and beyond what we could ever think or imagine. And because that's how our God works, that is what you'll also be able to experience as being a great co-worker with him. And so, C is for Christ. And so I want to read to you really quick out of the best love story ever told. Is John 17. And I'm going to start at verse 24 and I'll end at verse 26. And this is the NIV version. It says, and this is Christ speaking. He is actually praying to God. And this is right before he gets arrested and about to go through execution, things that he went through to die for us on the cross. And then we know in 3 days he rose again to glory. And so this is his prayer to God. He says, verse 24, he says, Father, I want those you have given me to be with me where I am and to see my glory, the glory you have given me because you loved me before the creation of the world. Righteous Father, though the world does not know you, I know you, and they know that you have sent me. I have made you known to them and will continue to make you known in order that the love you have for me may be in them and that I myself may be in them. And so that's why this part is so important, like the C and capacity being Christ, so that we can acknowledge him in us. For those of us who have accepted Jesus Christ as Lord, you have within you his spirit, which is the Holy Spirit. But so often, because the flesh is so loud and it is demanding us to react, it is demanding us to stand up for ourselves in a worldly way. It is demanding for us to do what we've always done so that we can be comfortable instead of getting outside of our comfort zone and doing something different that's going to actually make a difference in our life for the better. Because the flesh is so loud, it's hard to hear the whisper of the Holy Spirit. And so we want to transform that, where we are so separate from willing to the flesh and doing what the flesh tells us to do, being obedient to the flesh and the world and what the world is telling us is okay. We want to be so separated from that. We actually want to die to the flesh so much that we hear the Holy Spirit speaking to us strongly, powerfully, and with the authority that is needed for us to be willing to obey. Because Jeremiah 29:11 tells us that God has great plans for us. King James Version says that he has thoughts that he thinks towards us, and he wants to prosper us and not harm us, but to give us a hope and a future. Like, God is after our good. God is Romans 8:28, always in the midst, working for our good. And so we do not want to fight against God. We want to surrender to his plans and his will, making it our own, so that we can not only reach that goal, like achievement or whatever it is that we're striving to do, not only so that we can be successful in that, but we can also have the fulfillment that comes with it, but only comes through Christ. And so that C word, Christ being first, is going back to what we've shared in episode 2. I highly recommend that if you have not watched episode 1 and episode 2 and episode 3, that you do it, because we are going through steps here. You know what I mean? We're going through steps. And so either way, like that Matthew 6:33, seeking first God's kingdom and his righteousness, and all other things will be added to you as well, is critical, because that's where we receive strategy. That's where we are built up. That's where we are restored. That's where we are healed. That's where we're able to forgive. That is where we are able to release the burdens of the world and surrender it to God's feet, so he can do with it what only he can do with it, and we are free from it. The Bible tells us that Christ's burden is light. It is light. Like, compared to everything that we are battling against in the world and trying to keep up with what is happening and is going on in the world, Christ is saying, look, peace I leave with you. He is saying, yeah, it's some level of burden, because what I don't like is when, and I'm about to go on a tangent just a little bit, but what I don't like is when Christians like to make it seem as though because you choose to be a Christ follower, that things are just going to be great for you, that you're not going to go through stuff, or they make it seem like you're going to go through so much stuff, but once you get to heaven, that's when you will experience real fulfillment. And both of those are so far from the truth. Like, at the end of the day, yes, we will go through troubles just like anybody else. We will go through hardships just like anybody else. We will go through challenges just like anybody else. The sun rises and sets on all of us, on the righteous and the wicked. The rain pours down on all of us, the righteous and the wicked. The beauty about being a Christ follower, and hear this clearly, is that though you go through the issues and the hardships and the tribulations of life, you have a peace that surpasses understanding. You have a joy that knows no bounds. You have a love that is unconditional, genuine, and sincere. You have a weapon that you use that is so powerful and is so strong where it can pierce through anything. That's the sword of the Spirit. That is God's word, where no matter what is happening and that is going on, you can stand on the truth of God's word. And so that is what separates us from those who does not choose to do it God's way. We are able to go through different things and it does not break us. It does not make us fold. It does not make us choose to participate in it, but we can rise above it. And as a result of rising above it, it turns into a testimony for us. It turns into a testimony for us. It is not something that we continue to complain about and that we lay depressed in and that we allow to keep us in circumstances and places that we don't want to be in. No, it is transformed into a testimony that we can say, wow, God, look at you and how you brought me through to this next level and how you built up in me love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, gentleness, kindness, faithfulness, and self-control along the way. And now I can use that to go and be a blessing to other people, to let them know that if he took me through it, he can do it for you too. That's the difference between us who go through things, who choose to be Christ followers, and those who go through things and they choose the world way. The world swallows them up and what it is that they're going through. But with us, we are free. The Bible says who the Son sets free is free indeed. For us, it is blocks that is building us up to get up out of it and go into something new. It is mountains that we are moving. It is perseverance that is being built up in us. It is the fruit of the Spirit, Galatians 5:22-23, that is being built up in us as who we are and not just what we pick up when it is convenient. Again, I know I just went on a tangent, but I want us to be clear on that. And fulfillment can be here, like John 10:10, when he says, I have come so that they may have life and have it to the full. That is wherever life is. And right now, our life is here on earth. And yes, you can have fulfillment now. So C is for Christ. Choosing to have a relationship with him and acknowledging his work within you. Now, A is for attitude, okay? You remember when we were little and our mama used to say to check that attitude at the door? That's the same here. We need to check our attitude before we choose to go out and start doing the work to achieve our goals. Like, where is your mindset at when it comes to your goal? Like, are your thoughts healthy, good, and positive towards it? And I know for many of us, like, the reason why we are setting goals, which again, a goal is a desired result. And the reason why we are setting it is because we want to reach a new level, whether it is going from great to greater or good to great or bad to good. Like, where's your mindset when it comes to achieving your goals? And so really quick, I'm going to read Philippians 4, verse 8. And again, I'm reading from the NIV version. It says, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things, okay? This is telling us to have a positive mindset, to have a positive attitude, to think about things that are good and is going to promote motivation. That is going to promote encouragement, that is going to promote inspiration, that is going to build up momentum, that is going to make you want to go get it and being the best version of yourself. Like, God is telling us through, I believe it was, let's see who was reading this. I believe it was the Apostle Paul who started reading Yep, it was Apostle Paul. So that is what Apostle Paul was telling us here. Like, God was speaking through Paul and letting us know, like, look, keep your thoughts healthy and positive. And for God to tell us this, that means that it is possible. That means that whatever you are going through, you can find the good in it and magnify it. You can find the solution in it and focus all of your attention on it, like being laser focused to the good and the solution and how the strategy is working out for you and who God is bringing in to support you and to help you through it. Because that's another thing, like feeling like we are alone in something is the trick of the enemy. And I know from my own experiences, because especially when my soul sister Lynette died, I really felt like I was alone. I felt like I didn't have nobody that really understood me. I felt like nobody was going to be willing to go after it with me, that nobody was really rocking with me in my vision and my goals and my aspirations the way that she was. And so for me, I really felt alone in it. And because of that, like, me doing it was boss at the time. It wasn't as fulfilling as it used to be. Like, I didn't even want to do it. It was more so at starting to be like a chore instead of a passion for me. But that's because I allowed the enemy to trick me in my season of mourning and sadness and healing to believe that it was just me, that I didn't have anyone else. And I'm telling you that that is not true. Now, you might go through a season where God is saying, like, I need your attention. This is me and you in this season because I want to build up in you something that is going to add so much value in the purpose that I have given you for that season. That happens with us quite often, where God will start to slow down relationships in your life so that he can get your attention and you can listen to him as he guides you, instructs you, and leads you towards a good path, towards the path that he has for you. So you might experience that, but do not confuse that with loneliness, because those two are not the same. Like, if that was the case, then God would never have given Adam Eve. He would never have given Adam Eve. Right? The reason why, going back to Genesis, that God decided to give Adam Eve, he said, because it is not right for man to be alone. And when he was talking about Adam, remember, Adam represents mankind. So it's not just man, it is also woman. He is saying that it is not right for us to be alone. So God is not going to put us in a position that he has already declared to be not right. So you are not lonely in what it is that you are going through. And we need to get to a place where we are seeing the world around us differently. Like, we're choosing to have a positive perspective so that we can have the motivation, the encouragement, the will, the passion, the desire, the perseverance, all that we need in order for us to go out and be extraordinary. And so what does that look like for you? What does it look like to change your attitude, to have a better attitude? One thing that I highly recommend is journaling. Like, one thing that I tell my members to do in Dreamers Worldwide, we do strategic journaling, where we're not just journaling and releasing how we feel. That's part of it, but that's not all that we're doing. We're also being intentional about seeing, okay, this is where God was working in this situation. This is the good that is inside of this situation. You know what? As I go back and read it, I can see a solution here. Like, we're not just releasing, but we're also looking for God in the midst of that situation or circumstance. And so that is something that I recommend for you as well, because what we don't want to do is take with us in our happy new day whatever we went through in the day before. That's why, and we have a nighttime routine where it's the journaling, it's the releasing, and things like that. And then when we wake up in the morning, if we are still in those emotions, or if we are still dealing with what we experienced the day before, then in our happy new day, as we are giving God our first hour or however long you need with God, you are allowing him to continue to heal you, to continue to restore you, to give you wisdom and insight, and to prepare you for a happy new day and how you can be your best in this day so that this happy new day is better than your day before. So attitude is everything. Attitude is everything. P is for peace. And so I want to read to you John 14, verse 27, and again from the NIV version. It says, "Peace I leave with you. My peace," and this is Jesus talking. He says, "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." And so that's the beauty about a peace that surpasses understanding, like what I was just sharing with you. We can receive Jesus' command, because that's a command that he's telling us. He's saying, like, look, I'm leaving you peace. And so with the peace that I'm giving you, even though you are going to experience trouble, he is saying, don't let your heart be troubled with it. And he is saying also, do not be afraid. And he could tell us that because of what? His peace. And so with us choosing to honor our capacity, it's always important to acknowledge, where is my peace in this? Is my peace being robbed here? Because if it is, we know from John 10:10 that the enemy comes only to steal and to kill and to destroy. So if you feel like your peace is being robbed, that means that the enemy is at work stealing from you. And we do not want to participate in that. We do not want to be a co-worker to the enemy by giving in to his attempt to steal our peace. Instead, we want to resist the enemy so that the enemy can flee. And we do that through grabbing hold of the peace that Christ left us. Now, how does that look with being a little bit more practical? So in our community, we talk a lot about, it's called the boundary stick, right? It's a measuring stick where if your negative is greater than my positive, I'm shutting it down. I am not choosing to engage. And so let's put some simple numbers here. So if someone is at a -5 and you're at a +2, then that outcome is going to be negative. And so it is important for us to be real about where we are. And it is okay. Like, if you are at like a +2, that means that, man, like the littlest thing can probably throw me off. The littlest thing could probably trigger something in me that would make me react versus respond. The littlest thing might get me to the point where I'm about to go off. I'm like, it will wake up in me that, don't come for me. This ain't what you want, you know? And so with knowing that, that means if you are encountering someone, and it does not matter who it is, it can be husband, sister, mother, daddy, friend, co-worker, boss, whatever, it does not matter who it is. If they are stepping to you and they are in a very negative space. And because what does hurt people do? Hurt people hurt people. And so they are putting on you what they are going through, and you're already at a space where it's like, man, like I'm not really there. Then you have a decision to make on how you are going to choose to exit that situation. You're either going to choose to say, you know what, I'm not able to deal with this right now. Like, I'll come back to it tomorrow or whatever like that at a different time. Or you can allow them to express themselves and you do not engage. So you allow them to express themselves and you be understanding, and then you tell them that you can respond at a different time, or you just be there to listen. Or if you have to engage in that very moment, then you are in prayer that entire time. Like, as they are speaking, you are reciting scripture. As they are doing whatever it is that they're doing in their negativity, you are praying to God for strength and courage. You are building yourself up in that very moment by the Spirit, so that you are strong enough to respond versus react, right? But you are not allowing their negative to put you in a negative space. You are not allowing whatever it is that's going on with someone else to rob you of your peace. You have a choice. You have a choice. Your life is your choice. Your peace, Christ left for you. So you have what it is that you need. You have to be intentional about choosing peace in any situation or circumstance. And those are the three different ways. I'm telling you, you will find yourself, when you are dealing with difficult people, having those three different ways that you can respond to it. And you have to choose to be strong and courageous enough to choose peace over chaos, to choose peace over frustration, to choose peace over bitterness, to choose peace over anxiety, to choose peace over vengeance. You have to be strong enough to choose to do that. And in that, sis, you are honoring your capacity. And now, A is for ability. This one is really good, because with ability, it's not about what you can do. It is about what you should do based on your season. Because whatever you think you can do, I am 1,000% sure that you can. If you believe that you can wear 5 different hats, that means take on 5 different responsibilities at the same time. I am more than sure that you are capable of doing that. I am more than sure that you have the ability to do that. But is that what is best for you? Just because you can does not mean that you should. With honoring your capacity, it is about acknowledging what you have on your plate and then making up your mind what is going to stay on your plate and what you are going to choose to either throw away because it's too much for you, or store in the freezer and pick it back up, unthaw that thing in the next season when you are more capable of actually dealing with it, doing it in a way where it is not robbing you of what we talked about, your peace. It is not robbing you of your joy. It is not leaving you feeling stressed out, overwhelmed, and burdened. And so that's the thing with ability. It's not about what you can do, sis. You can do so much. Like, God made you a helper. He made you a helper, which means that he has fully equipped you to be able to do so many different things. That's why, naturally speaking, you put so much on yourself. That's why, naturally speaking, you put so many demands on yourself as a mom, as a wife, as a entrepreneur, as a friend, as a leader, as an advisor, as a cheerleader, all these different things. It's because, naturally speaking, you are a helper. However, remember, this is why, if you did not watch, I believe that was in episode 2. This is why, if you did not watch episode 2, I highly recommend that you do, because in order for us to honor who we are as helper, we have to remember what God said. He said, suitable for. And he talked about Adam, which represents mankind. And God put Adam, mankind, over all of the creations that he made here on earth, with giving us all that we need from heaven in order to be successful in everything that he has put us as being responsible for here on earth. And he called everything that he made in the beginning very good. So that means that, woman, that you are a helper that is suitable for very good things. Suitable, right, or appropriate, right? And so just because you can do it, is it right or appropriate for you in this current season that you are in? That is when we are focusing on ability when it comes to capacity. Is it right or appropriate for this current season I am in? If the answer is yes, that means that I have the ability to do it. If the answer is no, then that means that I do not have the ability to do it in this season. But that's okay, because you could probably do it once you reach your next level and you have more time freedom, or you have more support, or you have more of what it is that you need in order to be a great steward of that thing that you're saying that is not right or appropriate for you right now. Or you might need to just toss it in the trash because it's not for you, period. And it's time to let it go. So with the ability, it is about right or suitable for you. C is for care. This is very important because it's about prioritizing. Because let me tell you, any process, it does not matter what you're striving for. Any process, you're gonna go through some stuff. The process be processing. Actually, what I want to do, I want to read to you. This is James 1, and I'm going to read 2 through 4. And again, NIV version. It says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Right? So look, even there, it is telling us the process is you're going to experience certain things, but it's important for us to persevere through it. And what helps us with that is understanding what matters to you in this season. Like, what is your why in this season? What is your big goal? Like your one big goal, where all of the other, I like to call milestone goals, is supporting that one big goal being achieved. What is important to you? And so 3, when answering the question and understanding what do you really care about in this season, so that it is not being swept up under the rug, or it is not being abandoned, or it is not being replaced by the worries of whatever it is that you might be going through in this process. The 3 ways, or the 3 questions I'll say to ask yourself to understand what is it you're really caring about right now is, for one, who is the most important in this season for you. That does not mean, so let me be clear, that does not mean that other people in your life are not important, right? This just means like in this season, they are requiring the most of your attention. That could be just you right now, where in this season, like if you are going through some health issues, then right now you are the most important person in this season, because without your health, like what is everything for? You're not going to be able to do the things that you need to do. You're not going to be able to move the way that you need to move. Even if it's your mental health, right? Like if you're not mentally there, then what is it all for? You're not going to be able to be as creative as you need to be. You're not going to be able to sort through your thoughts the way that you need to, so that you can come up with the best solutions. Or, because you are going through whatever you're going through mentally, you won't be able to enjoy. You won't be able to actually show up in the way that you need to in the roles that God has blessed you to be in. And so if it is you that is the most important person, then it's important to know that. But then it might be different relationships. Like this season, what might be the most important is your husband, because your marriage is suffering. Or it could be your children, because your children can be wayward. Or it could be relationships, like it could be friendships, it can be at work, your team, if you're an entrepreneur. It's important to know who is the most important, as in needing the most attention. Again, it doesn't mean like the most important people in your life, but who is needing the most attention from you in this season. Second is, what is needing your immediate attention? Like what is requiring the most attention from you? And so we talked about the individuals, but now let's talk about the actual circumstances or situation. It could be a failing marriage. It can be, health issues. It can be business, growing your business, like starting your business. It can be finances. It can be whatever it is that like this area of my life needs the most of my attention right now. It needs to be priority. And then finally, it is your relationship with God. And here we're talking about prioritizing it. Like, what does that look like for you when you're choosing to seek first God's kingdom and his righteousness? Because it could change. Like for me, there are seasons where me just reading my word is all that I really need, because every single time, like y'all, it still kind of happen now, but as soon as I open up the Bible and I read it, and a lot of times I'm just reading straight through from Genesis to Revelation, but still, like what I read ends up being exactly what I needed to read in that moment. But then there are times for me where it is like I'm just listening to a lot of spiritual music, like encouraging music. And then there are times where my prayers are out loud, where I have to say it out loud because I have to hear myself and what it is that I'm saying and speaking to God. There's sometimes where I'm just in tongues a lot, like I'm praying in tongues a lot. And then there are times where I have to go specific places. Like I told you guys in a previous episode that I have to be outdoors. And so for me, like in a certain season, I have to make sure, like, I'm talking about no matter what, that I'm getting outside at least twice a week. And that has to be a non-negotiable for me, because in that's how I'm experiencing God. But then there are also seasons where it's when I'm working out. Like when I'm working out, that's where I'm downloading the most. That's where I'm experiencing God the most. And so it shifts based on your season, and that is not bad at all. It's just understanding what that looks like for you, so that your relationship with God is not out of routine, but it is out of a genuine heart for God. It is out of you genuinely want to build a relationship with him because you love him, because you want him, and because you need him. And making that a top priority is everything. And so when examining what you care about, answering those three questions will help tremendously, and giving yourself grace inside of it, because like I said, even when it comes to the people that you are acknowledging, like, these people need my attention the most, that does not mean that you're neglecting other people in your life. That does not mean that you do not care about the other people in your life. This is just you understanding, like, in order for me to honor this season, in order for my relationship with my children to get better, in order for my marriage to get better, in order for me to get better with my health and wellness, in order for my team to perform well so that we can reach these business goals, then I have to prioritize them in a way that I know that this is where quite a bit of my attention will go, but that doesn't mean all of it, right? And so that's C. C is for care. I is for insight. And so I'm going to go ahead and keep reading James 1, but now I'm going to read from verse 5 through 8. So I'm going to start at verse 5 and I'm going to go through verse 8. And again, NIV version. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Such a person is double-minded and unstable in all they do. Whew. Okay. So the reason why I wanted to read all of that is because, for one, insight is wisdom, and wisdom only comes from God. Because wisdom is knowledge, experience, and good judgment. God is the only source of good that there is. And so in order for us to have good judgment, we have to receive that from a good judge. So that's why wisdom only comes from God. And so with insight, with us receiving that wisdom so that we can have strategy for how to navigate in this season, we have to believe the wisdom that God has given us. We have to believe the wisdom that God has given us. If we do not, it says here that we are double-minded and unstable in all that we do. How often do we see that, unfortunately, with people where they talk a good game? I'm talking about they are extremely knowledgeable. They know all type of stuff. But yet, their execution does not line up with their talk. So that means that they're not being about what they talk about. That is because they receive knowledge, but they did not allow that knowledge to be transformed into wisdom, which is that good judgment, and that experience, which means that you have to be a doer. And that means also that you have to believe the good judge when he gives you good judgment. Okay? And if we are not choosing to believe what God has given us, the insight that he has given us, the plans that he has given us, the thoughts that he has shared with us, that he has for us, then we are double-minded and unstable. And that's how we stay in situations and circumstances that does not serve us. But not only that, but we are also unhappy in those situations and some circumstances because we know better, but we're not choosing to do better. We know better, but we're choosing to do the opposite of what we know. We know better, but we are choosing fear instead of faith. We are choosing whatever is happening and going on in the world and our circumstances instead of choosing faith, instead of choosing God's plans for us and trusting it and believing it. And I'm telling you that because God a lot of times work in illogical ways. I mean, just go through this Bible and read. You're going to see God doing all type of illogical things. Like we literally just read last week, or whenever you watch episode 3, how God had Gideon to take his army down to 300, going against thousands, taking down his army down to 300. That's illogical. But that's also where we can give God the glory. And that's what God wants. He wants the glory. He wants us to know that it was only possible through him. And so now T is for time. And we have more than enough of it. And so I have been talking to you about not having too much on your plate, not putting too much on yourself, and, honoring your ability, what is right or appropriate for you, all those different things, so that you are not putting a burden on you. Now, with T being time, we also do not want to take ourselves off the hook. Like, we do not want to say, well, I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that. And we're saying that we're not going to do it because we're honoring our capacity, when really we're not choosing to do it because of fear or something else that is an excuse for not doing it. So one thing I've been sharing with our members, and this has been such a great help for them, is that we have 168 hours in every week. Nobody has an hour more. Nobody has an hour less. We all have 168 hours in a week. That is 24 hours times 7 days a week. You're going to get 168 hours per week. Now, I've been hearing a lot about, and actually before I started hearing about it, I was already thinking about it because I was finding myself feeling busy all the time and feeling like I didn't have enough time to do certain things. And so I wanted to really get down to it. And what I realized, and also this is something that people have been sharing a lot as well, is the 8-8-8 rule, where it is 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of personal, 8 hours of work. Okay? And so if we were to honor that, now I'm talking about a perfect world here, that means that we have 56 hours a week for sleep, 56 hours a week for personal things and activities and stuff that we have to do. And then 48 hours of work. Now, where am I getting that from? 8 times 6 is 48. And so God tells us that one day a week, we are to honor the Sabbath and do no work. That's what God tells us to do. That is part of the 10 Commandments. And so if we were to honor that, that means we have 48 hours a week for work. Now, the world tells us 40 hours a week for work. So God is saying that I'm giving you more than what the world is telling you that with hours that you should be working, which is considered full time. Again, perfect world here. For those who's thinking where I work 10 hours, I work 16 hours, I barely get 4 hours of sleep. I'm talking perfect world here. We're going to get to it, okay? But based on the world's perfect, we actually have more than enough time for work. And then that means that we have an abundance of time left. We have an additional 8 hours left where we can use that for personal activities, or if you want to sleep or whatever, you can use that with. And that tracks with the God that we serve, who goes exceedingly abundantly and beyond what we could ever think or imagine. He's an abundant God, and he is the author of time. When it comes to everything going the way that it should, if that is the case, and we have more than enough time, then we have to ask ourselves, realistically speaking, where is our time going? Where is it going? Who are we giving our time to? What emotions is slowing us down because we're constantly giving into them instead of healing our emotions and allowing ourselves to be built up and restored? Like, what health issues are we going through? That physical health issues that we're going through, that we are allowing to slow us down in our productivity and the things that we need to do. So it's taking us longer to get certain things done. Like, what people are we allowing to like stress us out, put us in states of minds where we're just out of sorts, and they are draining us. They are literally draining us. Like, where's our time going? And how are we being productive in the things that we are doing? Or how are we not being productive in the things that we need to be doing? I'm telling you that when you start to understand where your time is being spent, and why is it taking you so long to do the certain things that you are doing, you will realize that your relationship with God definitely has to be a priority. What you are choosing to care about in your current season definitely has to be acknowledged and honored. Your abilities, definitely like choosing what is right or appropriate for you, it definitely needs to be honored. Your peace, it definitely needs to be honored. Your attitude towards what it is that you're doing, it definitely needs to be honored. Because when you are choosing to honor your capacity and what we were sharing about in this acronym, then the way that you are using your time, it will be so much better. What you are saying yes and no to, so what you are entering into agreement with, will be a lot more suitable for you in this current season that you are in. This is why it is important for us to acknowledge our time and be very realistic about the amount of time that we all have. And so if we all have this time, how are we using it? How are we using it? What are we giving it to? Who is influencing what we are choosing to do and how we are choosing to do it? And then finally, why is for you. Y-O-U. And the reason why it is you is because this is you choosing to get in front of a mirror, record, journal, whatever you need to do to confront you and make up your mind that I am going to honor my capacity. You need to have a conversation with you and say, this is who I am choosing to be. I am choosing to be a woman that is honoring my current season and my current capacity. I am choosing to be a woman who is standing strong and firm in who I am. I am choosing to be a woman that is bold and strong in my faith to go to the enemy's camp and take back everything that he has stolen from me. You have to have that conversation with yourself so that with that decision, you can build on that. With that decision, you can execute in that. And every day, because now with that decision, it has to be coupled with action. And so your old habits and ways of doing things is going to battle against the new habits that you are choosing to form. And so even though you make that bold declaration and decision and commitment to yourself, every day you're going to have to choose to make that decision again so that your actions every single day can couple and be in alignment with that decision that you've made. And what is hard always becomes easy through repetition. What is hard always becomes easy through repetition. Because just like you learn how to do whatever it was that you were doing before that got you in seasons and circumstances that you are currently in, just like you learn how those habits to get you there, you can also unlearn these habits and replace them with new, healthier habits that is in harmony with your current season, that is true to this best version of you, so that you can go out and achieve incredible goals and have fulfillment as his partner, as his wife, coupled with fulfillment, making the two one. So I hope that this episode was good for you. I hope that you choose to start honoring your capacity. Please like, share, and comment on this video. Share it with as many people as possible. Help me reach the nations, sis. And always remember that you got this because God got you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you so much. I celebrate you and I lift you up as I climb. Mwah. Bye.